Hello everyone, welcome to the Totally Well Show. I'm your host, Joyce Strong. The Totally Well Show is the place where we get curious, ask lots of questions, and explore everything to do with health, wellness, fitness, and all the things it takes to help you live the highest quality, most fulfilling life. I want to remind you that the Totally Well Show and all the shows here at the Groton Channel are welcoming your sponsorship, which can be in the form of payment for mentioning you on our show. And also there are some in-kind opportunities which are one-offs, so you need to come and talk with us about it. Reach out to the Groton Channel, www.thegrotonchannel.org, or get in touch with me and we'll tell you more about that. I have a return guest in part 2 on a subject of coaching, Dr. Teri Baydar. Dr. Baydar is a doctor of divinity, and you can find her at www.whitelilycoaching.com. And she is a leadership development consultant and coach, and an amazing person and a great friend. So
Nice to be here. Thank you so much.
Yep, you're welcome.
It's always a joy to come back.
Yeah, we just dig deeper into these, like the subjects become like more narrow and narrow, that we can find more depth.
Depth.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, and always getting to dig in a little bit more, and also maybe for the viewers to have a little something more to go away with.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. The power of what we call coaching, and it always amazes me how a small one single insight can pivot your whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think we set for today to talk about success.
Yes.
What that means.
We were talking about redefining success.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
So in the work that I do, what we call success shifts dramatically from what most business executive coaching would speak to. Mm-hmm. Success is fulfillment in my work. Success is having a meaningful life. Success is reaching for becoming absolutely everything you can become, and be that, and reach that high level of happiness, no matter what happens around you. Now, what's interesting is, so that's basically self-actualization according to Maslow and others. But what's really interesting is that people who start doing this start clearing the way for exterior successes that sort of drop in on them.
So my coach and mentor David Meltzer calls it creating a void.
Yeah, that would be a good way of putting it. Yeah.
So that it's just a law of nature that void needs to get filled,
and
it will another opportunity.
Yes, and it will get filled most often by something way more than you imagined.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It will come in like a gift from the universe because you did your work to clear the way. Because we lack.
You don't mind if I take notes?
No,
too,
we lack imagination.
Yeah.
To understand just how far we can go.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you just some of the points that I work on with my clients.
Okay.
And hopefully that will bring something to the viewers. The first one is to understand you need to think about your special sauce, your personal excellence. What does that mean to you? What is that going to look like? And to go ahead and imagine it as much as you possibly can, and think about how is that going to bring me joy? And not think about, is this the right thing to do necessarily, according to what my parents told me, or what the people around me think of me. Is that going to fit what they think? You should never be living someone else's story. You should always be writing your own. And if you're not writing your own, if you're tweaking your story or making it about pleasing someone over there, that's a red flag that you're not going to be on track. Those things are going to stop you. You have to be writing your story from your heart, from the inside out, and creating your own success from there, because everybody's going to be different. You know, someone who is handicapped and ends up in the Olympics, that's, I mean, talk about amazing. That's incredible. The fortitude, the mental, the emotional, and the physical work that goes into something like that.
And where my head went was, imagine all the people who told him or her she couldn't.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Or told that person, just settle for where you are.
Yeah.
You know, just accept.
I don't want you to be hurt. I don't want you to get,
Yeah. I don't want you to be hurt.
Yeah.
Right?
Disappointed.
Yeah, you'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
No, see, but it's okay to be disappointed.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine. And there are disappointments all the time. To think that there are no disappointments in life is foolishness. It's through our disappointments that we define ourselves. It's like, you might be disappointed, then you reach a point where you say, okay, that was a disappointment. I just did a workshop and I saw myself on camera. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have work to do in my presentation skills. You know, so I was disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did that do? That showed me what I needed to work on.
Yeah.
Okay, I was disappointed. But now I know I need to make some effort in a certain direction.
And certainly they never would have gotten better without your having the information to the next step, the
Right.
Marker. I'm looking for a word there, but
Yeah.
something to point you in the next direction. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Something to let me know what I'm doing well and what I'm not doing well.
I have a theory that this piece on happiness jumped out to me, and I know from David Meltzer, from listening to him a lot, our sponsor for today, talks about happiness and enjoying the journey, the process. So if you can shift, and you can tell me if this jives with what you're saying, that instead of being attached to the outcome, being enjoying the journey, including and being grateful for the failures and seeing them as opportunities. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I call the shift from score to value.
Okay. Ooh.
And we love sports, right? We're in New England. We love sports.
Yeah. Go Pats.
But we don't just look at the score.
Yeah.
We go to the game. We want to experience the game.
Yeah.
What is the game? The game is the actual value. The score is just a bunch of numbers. So
Yeah.
we keep track of stuff after the fact.
Well, I think Tom Brady would say that his losses are what are the reason why he's been so successful, because that elevates his everything to
Right.
the little things he has to do to get there.
Yeah. Because if we look
He
at
doesn't see losses like we see losses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tend not to see losses like that either.
Yeah.
Most of the time, not all the time. I still
You
experience
strive for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it. Because I think of value. When I think of a baseball game or a football game, and I think of, wow, each one of those players has put in years of training. How much weightlifting have they done? How many pounds of weight have they lifted, if we wanted to count that up?
Yeah.
Right? And how much have they practiced this or that, stroke or pitch or movement
Yeah.
in their skill set? How many times have they caught the ball?
I used to say, kids, get out in the driveway and shoot 100 pucks every single day.
Yeah, right?
I was a terrible mother. But they're good at hockey.
Good coach. But, you have to repeat and you have to enjoy the process. So that's the value, is the experience.
Yeah.
All of this exponentially compiled experience that's coming in to that game, right? That's the value.
I get to do this. I don't have to do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we go and we watch all that value coming together on
Yeah.
the field. That's why it's exciting. We follow these people's lives. We want to know, like, how, and we watch they film the practice and they use that, they show that to people. Who cares about their practice? We do.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we want to see what they're doing. There's so much value, so much time, so much energy, so much intention put into everything that each of those players is doing. There's no score, 3, 4, whatever, a couple of numbers out here, that could ever capture the substance of how much value is coming together in that moment. And all of the spectators watching, they're all bringing that together as well. Their minds are on that same focal point. And there's the value. And I think that really gets me excited, and it helps me with my clients, get them excited about what they're going to call success. Because you can succeed and lose the game. Because you succeeded, because your training, your hard work, your intention took you to fruition of some kind. That's a success. Even if that success is a disappointment, there's fruition. Next stage, what are you going to cycle through next? What are you going to choose to do next to get to the next point of fruition?
So I've developed a new tool that I can use for the next step. So there's not this finite thing. It makes me think about, a lot of people see me as, for weight loss and nutrition, right? And they'll come in and they want a number on the scale. No matter, even though I'll do the in-body, which is more detailed, but still, they want their inches to go down. But you have gas, your belly's just popped out right now. But they want that number to measure their success. And they'll walk away almost crying, slamming a door, really upset. So how can I redefine success for that kind of scenario?
I think it's redirecting the conversation.
Yeah.
That's what I do with my clients as much as possible. So they're hitting their resistance, and they're taking the score, like I have to score, that's their score.
Yeah.
The inches or the size 6 dress, that's their score, and they're attached to the score.
So it might have been like making an investment and things didn't work out as well. It could be anything.
It could be anything.
Yeah.
You're looking at the score.
Yeah.
You're not looking at the value of the experience towards who you want to be, because that always comes into play. Who do you want to be? And so for something like that, it would be, what do you want your health to look like? How do you want to feel? Something that I would pull out in that kind of situation for my clients who are mainly male. How do you want to make love to your wife?
Yeah.
That always wakes them up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What kind of a relationship do you want to have?
Yeah.
What do you want that to feel like? And I think it's hard to speak about feelings, but feelings are strong. So if we start to talk about feelings and find ways to say, I want to feel like this, then we start to get something to hold on to. It's a little more slippery than a number, but the number is abstract. It has no
it's a man-made construct.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't really speak to us. It doesn't motivate us.
Yeah.
That's why we have so many problems in that methodology of, looking at, I need to be a size 6, and then I will never be a size 6. So we do these things, these games in our heads around those kinds of score attitudes.
So is it, I'm a little looking for a little bit of clarification to make sure I'm understanding. So I'm thinking like breaking it down to specific details, like the little items, like for me, getting up and drinking a bottle of water first thing in the morning is part of my success habit, my pattern. And although I'm not going to drink that water and step on the scale and weigh less, I know it's going to contribute to the vision I have of a person who's at the proper weight and body fat percentage and physical ability that I want to be at for my age, to be able to do what I did last night with the grandkids and lay on the floor and hold them up on my legs and pump them up and down and laugh. And, that's 45, 50 pounds I'm, throwing around. That's the vision I see. So to fulfill it, I'm going to drink my water.
But
It's
again,
just a
that's,
little piece of it.
right, but that's the vision.
Mm-hmm.
You need the vision.
Mm-hmm.
And the vision, even though you're talking about 45 pounds of little person that you're throwing around, you're still thinking in terms of an experience, right? That experience with your grandchild brings you joy.
Yeah.
That's who you want to be.
Yeah.
That's the kind of grandma you want to be.
Yeah, not your average grandma.
Right. You want to be, you want to experience life in a certain way.
Yes.
And that's part of what fits into that grand idea of what you want your life to be. And then here you are breaking it down into bite-sized pieces of I drink the water, and then maybe, then there's the gym, and then there's this, and then there's that. There's all the little things you do in a day that are going to take you long-term to having the life that you want. It kind of comes back to what we were saying a little bit in another episode, was that, you need to have that vision, goals and boundaries, and then belief. Belief in that vision, and it's a long-term deal.
Yeah.
It's a long-term deal. People want quick fixes today, more than ever. Our inner toddler always wants quick fixes.
Yeah.
But we need to think the long game.
Yeah.
Nobody can lose weight instantly.
Yeah, that's huge, the long game, to realize it's like me when I learned to play hockey, learned to skate. I understood it because I just did it with my children. So I'd been through 10 years of holding them up. Although I couldn't skate, I could stand and hold them up. And then I was like, well, it doesn't happen overnight, but I saw the process. It's in my head now. And if I can commit to doing that over and over and over and over again, it's going to happen. And then certain coaches around me would say, Joyce, I promise, when it went from like doing a little crossover to doing a jump over a hurdle. I was like, no, there's no way I can do that. And he's like, yes, you can. I promise, if you try, you're not going to do it perfectly, and accepting those little baby steps.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's detail and it's willingness to fail?
Detail, yep.
Yeah.
Willingness to fail, but understand that failing is not failure.
Yeah.
It's just part of the process.
Yeah.
And I think we identify with the failure instead of realizing it's just part of the process.
Yeah, there's maybe a different word for it. I've heard people say, we all suck when we start at something. No,
right?
But yeah. I mean, we're supposed to not know how to do it. And I see that when I teach people too, especially the little kids in hockey. Some of them don't care, but some of them are they just came out that way. I swear, you don't see it in how their parents are treating them. They just are self-judging.
Oh yeah.
And that holds them back.
Yeah. Judgment is a real tough one.
Yeah.
What I have found, though, when you're thinking about terms of redefining your success, I think that allowing yourself to get over yourself, be a freak, whatever that means.
Yeah.
That's great. Again, the value in the score.
Value versus score?
Value over score. So value over score.
Yeah, okay.
Basically.
Yeah.
There's something else that's kind of neat that I've realized over time coaching people is when you're checking in with what matters to you for that long game, understand what's going to bring you joy and what's going to piss you off. Both of those are very good guides to where to go. Some people can't tune into the joy part very easily. So I have them tune into what makes you angry? What do you want to fix in the world? Let's go there. And take responsibility for your anger and what you want to fix. What's feasible? And start to figure out what matters to you.
So this is your motivator, like your core motivator.
What matters to you?
Yeah.
And when someone asks you what matters to you, a lot of times what they'll say is, equality, peace in the world, and we get all these airy-fairy ideas that are good, politically correct maybe, I don't know, but something that we inherited from our parents or what you're supposed to say.
Yeah.
But that's not actually what matters.
And it can be a little perverse, I think, sometimes. I can see from the look on your face you get it. So one time when I was wanting to I had made a decision to lose weight and stick to a plan, and the real motivator behind it was a colleague who treated me poorly and acted as if she was a higher level human being than and she was more educated in certain areas and knew more information about a specialty we're in, and that's because she did that work and had been in it longer and grew up in it in a family, all that. But the way she treated me was it pissed me off, and I was like, this is one area, sister, where you're not going to win.
Right.
And it just drove me. It was, in the long run, I don't know if it was the best thing, but it got me started and got me really focused on learning this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Both anger.
Yeah.
Anger is a pusher.
Yeah.
Joy is a puller.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you want to experience joy. And once you experience joy, you're like, oh, I want more of that. How do we do that?
Yeah.
Let's repeat that.
But you can leverage that other thing.
Anger, if you're willing to face it.
Yeah.
And be, and you're willing to be, like, I am going to beat you on this one. It does. It
helps. I think what it helped me do, it wasn't, she was just,
she's just a vehicle.
She was just a representative of how I felt about myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's got nothing to do with that other person.
Yeah. It was really me fighting me, but
absolutely
she was the anthropomorphism of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the things that make us mad are just something we need to overcome in ourselves.
Yeah.
Something that we're not happy about in ourselves. But by looking at what makes us unhappy, but then claiming it.
Yeah.
That's the empowerment. Instead of sitting back and being mad and pointing the finger, if you claim it, your anger then becomes something to work with.
Yeah. Do you have other examples of how you've been able to help people redefine success in just other spaces in general?
Yeah. I have one CEO, for example, who he was actually at one point the CEO of 2 different tech companies at the same time, which is like, okay. Very high-performing individual, obviously. Yeah. But he was able to shift away from the score part that we were talking about. You know, he was very out here making things happen, and good at making things happen.
So was that making money, or was it...
Making money, making deals, getting the tech team to do what they needed to do, managing people. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good at what he does. But there was just not a coming together of who he wanted to be, how he wanted to live his life, and the fullness of the picture. And he said to me at one point while we were doing the work, this is so much harder than running 2 companies.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But he did get to a point where he shifted into the value of and being executive presence. So we really built that up. Emotional intelligence, we really built that up. So he started to be self-aware, aware of his own stuff. Then he starts becoming aware of others, and then aware of all of this happening with others. And that awareness brought him to a place where he was at choice and started making decisions about how to be in his family, how to be towards his son. He realized, like a lot of men, that he was competing with his college-age son. And it just snapped in him one night, and he's like, I don't have to do that. Let it go. And that creates that void, right? You let go of those things. And then, you know, the universe just poured in blessings and brought all of those things to him about all that he could be and all of the rich, fulfilling relationships he could have. And then everything else also starts to go better, where he's not only the CEO of one company, and that company's moving forward and having more successes and just doing what it needs to be doing to be in that space of fulfillment instead of being in that space where he was the octopus making all these things happen. He then pulled his energy in, started to grow as a full-fledged human being, like living wholeheartedly, and that starts to then overflow into everything that's happening.
So it affected all aspects of his life, his family relationships, his health, his...
He had to redefine success. Away from the scoreboard and onto the value of every moment. And that shift, redefining his own sense of what is success. He's not the CEO of 2 companies, just 1.
That's enough.
But it's more than enough because he gets to go deeper, farther, and it's now more of a vehicle with him simultaneously in his life. Like his family, everything now is in alignment. And it's just growing and it's evolving. And so he's enjoying the journey so much more. So that's that.
So
redefining.
If he can check off today, I am happy. That he doesn't go through a day without being happy, that's a measure of success.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's time for us to wrap up. Again, we go so quickly here and go deep, but less is more.
Yes.
Thank you again for sharing, for being my mentor and helping to support me
much.
in my growth and all you do.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's such a joy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
same.